class. Last year you had to go JUCO heavy, it sounded like 11 guys. This year I think just 3. What was kind of your approach when you thought about what classification you wanted to build this class around?
Yeah, we did. We still wanted some balance. I think ended up being 4 junior college guys, and for us, the high school piece of it really important. I think we added some great depth to the class. I love what we've done at multiple positions. You know, I talked about this early in the season. I felt like we had opportunities to go finish the way we needed to. We were going to be incredibly aggressive of where we needed to add some big time players, and it's happened the way we wanted to, and really excited about the class.
And really to the surprise of no one that's kept up with him, and Eastern time zone helps, but Brody McCarter, your first signee,
Yeah.
and he's kind of been the leader in this class. You know, number one, does that surprise you? But also, too, what made him your guy?
Yeah, for Brody, wanted him to sign first because he's been the guy that's been incredibly consistent. As we got him on campus and were able to spend time with him after the brutal injury he had as a junior, and we felt like this guy was a guy that was going to be able to have the ability to go lead our program at some point. Physically, he's got all the tools. The kid loves football. It's incredibly important to him. He's incredibly competitive. And man, he's been through some stuff, and it hadn't been perfect. And I love his toughness, how he responded and went and played this year, and love that he was ready to lead from the front today and sign at 6:01.
Robbie and Colin?
Coach, one of the surprises nationally was Brilen Wack.
Yeah.
You get in the game with him, but I know you've been working on him from the beginning.
Yeah.
Talk about that process and just staying true to him and fighting in that battle with him as he's looking out of state and convincing him to come home.
Yeah, me and Brilen have had just an incredible relationship. There's been great dialogue. I believe in that young man in a great way. He's loved Mississippi State for a long time, and he has been over here a ton from the time he was a youngster coming over here to games, all the different camps he's attended. And I think everything just, man, it came full circle for him. He's got an incredible family. I think there's great trust on both ends there, and just so excited that Brilen, man, at the end of the day, it was important for him to be a Bulldog and a guy that loves Mississippi State, and it was important for him to stay in state and be a guy inside this signing class that, man, we could be able to go lean on and depend on. So a huge piece of it, a ton of excitement around him with great reason, and we were aggressive with him from day one, man, and wanted him to be a guy that could lead this class.
Yeah.
Talking to Mario after the Egg Bowl, he had a message for guys and buying into this program and your vision for it. As showcasing his talent, not just in starting that last game, but kind of throughout the season, and not using that red shirt on him, showing what he can do. How much did that resonate with some of these other guys coming in as freshmen?
Yeah, I think it's pretty evident that you watch one play and man, there's a lot to be excited about. And again, he's got a ton of work to do, but he's got all of it. All the tools obviously are there, but this is a guy that loves Mississippi State, and man, this is home, and he is fighting and scratching and clawing to build, man, the best brand he possibly can for himself, but for us as a university, as a football program, and there's a lot to be excited about.
Coach, I guess if you count Micah Nickerson as a jack linebacker, he was the only linebacker you signed from high school or JUCO ranks. Is that something you'll look to hit in the portal or fill in the pieces? I know you got a lot of young linebackers back though.
Yeah, the jack defensive end position, and he's a true rush, an elite one, and the fight has been on for that dude for a long time. Love his ceiling and where he's going, but for us, we do feel strongly about this linebacker room that we have right now. We've got a really good group. We got a lot of guys back that have played, and there's some pieces inside that room that haven't played a lot on defense, that played a lot for us on teams this year, and that we think got a chance to be elite players. And so we'll continue to evaluate that like we're evaluating every piece of it, and be incredibly aggressive in all areas to make sure we're doing everything we possibly can to create competitive advantage next fall.
I know there'll be a lot of moving pieces with your current roster between now and January, but when the transfer portal opens, I guess it may be hard for you to give a number, but can you kind of guesstimate how many additions you want to get from the transfer portal?
It's going to be so fluid, and it will be so fluid and until we can't get kids into class anymore. And that's just the nature of college football right now. What is today won't be tomorrow. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And we want to find ways to make sure that we're as aggressive as we possibly can be in the retention, one, and then two, man, going and getting the additions we need, again, to be able to create advantage next fall.
Brilen Womack, what do you just like about his game and what he brings to the team?
I love the skill set from the standpoint he's got this offensive skill set, but a defensive mentality. And this is a guy that can play in the post. Defensively, he can play in man coverage. When the ball's in the air, it's his. And you see all the plays that he makes offensively. He's got this incredible amount of ball skills. He got great ball skills, and then he's got body control. And so when the ball's in the air and being in position is one thing, and then when the ball's in the air, being in position, then going and making the plays, another thing. And he has the ability to do that, and we need that.
And also with getting a guy like him committed and signed, what does that maybe do in terms of like positive recruiting momentum and what you can kind of build on in the future?
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing. I think, again, especially when it's inside our state, a guy that has great name recognition and has been through it. When 27s come on campus and they're around Brilen, they're going to know who he is, but he's going to be able to talk them through the entire process. And knowing that, man, at the end of the day, relationships matter. Understanding where we're going is something that he's excited about, and I think that'll create a ton of momentum for guys to come.
Danny?
Coach, now that you have signed Jaden, what was it like to work with the Taylor family? And I know you said they're Bulldogs through and through, but just talk about the process of getting both those guys here.
Yeah, JT's fun. He's a fun kid to be around. He's got great energy, great juice. He's played his butt off all year long. So excited for him and his opportunity this weekend. But he is, man, for these two guys to be able to play together this close to home, the family being so involved in their lives every single day is, man, it's special and it's fun. And I think people will be talking about these two guys for a long, long time. So excited about JT.
Steve?
Got a couple. There's a lot of people that make this machine run that don't get their name in the paper. Guys like Mark Vitler and guys on your scouting team. But you had a handful of guys out there that you guys offered first, and some people kind of scratched their eyes and raised their eyebrows about that. Then all of a sudden, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, and teams like that get in. What does that say about the quality of the evaluation that your team is doing?
Yeah, I think the evaluation, the early evaluation, is a huge part of our success today. I believe that, and being on some of these guys early that didn't have a lot early, that we trusted our eyes and we trusted the in-person evaluation, I think for us is a huge factor on us having the day that we've had. So a ton of credit to the personnel department, our recruiting department. You mentioned it, it takes a lot of people to go pull this off. Where we are, the people we battle, and understanding, man, we're fighting like heck to be the aggressor and not being reactionary in anything, and still staying incredibly true to ourselves. So proud of the entire building, man, for making it happen today.
Over the course of the last week, there's been a lot of coaching changes within the league. I mean, how did you see maybe that impact the recruiting process here at the very end?
Yeah, there's still a couple of guys out there, and it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens here in the next 48 hours with a couple of guys because of exactly what you're talking about. So as we continue to move through that, there's, again, like I said, there's a couple out there, and then there was a couple that again created some real opportunity here in the last week to 10 days on some guys that probably weren't going to be available, and that's been good for us.
Robbie, then Haydad, then Paul.
Talking about the running back position, you got two in-state guys, arguably the best two guys in the state. What did you think, first of all, on J.J. Hill? Other schools around the league were coming after him. What are people missing on his evaluations? And then also on Cooper, your thoughts on adding him to the mix too?
They are the best two backs inside our state. I believe that. They're SEC backs. They're SEC players. I don't know what people were leery on JJ on. All he's done is produced, and for a really good football team, for a place that coaches them hard, that's got a great program, they know how to win. JJ's a winner, and a guy that will do anything to help his team win, like playing quarterback in the first, whatever it was, 5 or 6 games of the season, and because they needed him to. But another guy that I'm so proud of for being as strong as he's been with us the entire time. And there's a lot of people that continued to stay in his ear, but he stayed strong. And then Cooper is a guy that's had this incredible senior year, like a magical senior year. And you put the tape on, man, he can do it all. And we had him in camp this summer. We loved him. I love who the kid is. He's going to have this great impact on the field. Cooper's going to have a great impact inside our locker room. He's about the right things. And, man, fired up that we got to sign those 2 guys.
Coach Jaden Taylor's a guy that kind of gets overshadowed by his brother Camario, but obviously he's a heck of a football player too. But he's a guy that was dominant on offense and defense this year. Where do you kind of see his role, and where do you see him fitting position-wise?
I do. I think JT's going to be a safety for us. Talked a little bit about it with Brilen, but the fact that he's got the ball skills that he has, again, when the ball is in the air, he's going to become the aggressor. He's going to find ways to go get his hands on the ball and make the plays. And that's where I see him fitting.
Robbie?
Last year, you talked at your press conference about adding more members to the staff, and you talked about that before. You need more bodies in the staff for things we want to do. Do you anticipate doing that in this off season, adding more pieces?
Yeah, we're in the middle of evaluating every bit of it. I was talking about being aggressive from a recruiting standpoint. Man, it is all areas inside our program as we continue to move this thing forward and build it the way we want to go sustain. We're evaluating every piece of it, and so expect there to be some things change as we get into the next 7 to 10 days.
Steve?
Again, I've got a couple. I guess the first one, do you anticipate tweeting out any Undertaker memes tonight? We can kind of be watching for that.
No, I do not anticipate doing that. That was it was quite the day last year, I'll say that. But we've got a couple left out there. I'll be really excited if we can pull them through.
Along those lines too, I mean, this is your second full class, I guess we'd say, for you. How much more comfortable are you now with just kind of the direction of the recruiting efforts of you and your team?
Yeah, I think we're so much further ahead than we obviously were day one when I got here. And in comparison to that, as we stand here right now, again, we've got the right people in the right seats inside our building. There's great depth in our personnel department. There's great depth in our recruiting department. We need everybody pulling this rope the same direction. We've got that right now, and I'm excited about where we're moving this thing and how we're going to be able to recruit and sustain here for a long time as we continue to put these classes together.
Sam?
Do you know at all how active you intend to be in the February signing period at this point, or is that still undetermined?
Yeah, it's undetermined. I wouldn't expect a ton of action on that day. Everything really from now is going to be talked about it, but being aggressive with retention, and then adding the pieces that we need in the portal. We're definitely going to have our eyes open. I think there's a real chance for some of these guys to slip to that February date, and if it makes sense, I think with the way the roster and the schedule set up, there's a chance that you have a couple of spots on that February date where you don't have the spring portal to be able to go sign guys. To where that could come into play, but as it sits here today, I don't expect it, but it'll be fluid.
Anything else? All right.